Hey,
Ah,
reviews.
back in here, yo.
Predator.
Get to the chopper. Get to the chopper.
You done?
The chopper.
Okay. So we just got back from watching The Predator, 2018, and let's get right into it, okay, folks? Number one, the cast, okay? Yes, I'm skeptical of the trailer when I saw it, okay? I'm like, what are all these people doing in this film? Like, I feel like it's going to be a comedy maybe and not going to be good. What do you think?
The cast was just kind of, like I said, it's weird. It was like a normal cast in terms of we want for Predator. It's like they didn't give you like an action movie cast. They just gave you like a bunch of people around together. Like, oh, you maybe would like these people, and you're just like, okay, but why?
Yeah, so I'll briefly summarize this without being spoilerly. So they basically were like, hey, we have an idea for a new Predator. Let's get some actors that people might be able to relate to in this story setting, and hopefully you'll root from them and enjoy a Predator film. It's pretty much what they were hoping for. Now, the synopsis for this, including the trailers are a little misleading as far as like what the overall plot is. I'll just briefly kind of summarize what it says. The synopsis currently is. It says, a young boy accidentally triggers the universe's most lethal hunters return to Earth, and only a ragtag crew of ex-soldiers and a disgruntled teacher can prevent the end of the human race. Ah,
that is all wrong.
Wrong.
Like, that is all wrong.
That is not the plot of this film. That is not the plot of the film.
Well, I mean, the thing has been reshot 3 times, so that might have been the plot of the movie.
Yeah, that may be true. That may be true. They could have reworked it. But without being too spoilery, like I said, that's technically not what happens. It's kind of true in the sense that there is a young boy who you then, there's Olivia Munn that plays the teacher slash biologist. And then there are like ex-soldiers in the film. That's pretty much who kind of goes up against this Predator. Well, if you've seen the trailers, Predators, right? Yeah. So, man. Okay, so I'll talk about briefly what I think they did good, okay? I think they did a good job of showing the Predator technology.
Yes.
Weapons, as usual. It's kind of hard to mess up futuristic killing devices. I mean, it could be done, but they did not do that.
But I feel like also the weapons, like if you actually think about it, like in the series from when they started originally to there now, they've kind of downgraded the weapons.
Yeah, they haven't really progressed too much. Like in this film, there's even an artifact that looks like the blade from Crawl, that super old movie with a like Chinese style looking thing, and instead of that disc that he throws in the one with Danny Glover. So I don't know.
Like they use more like the knives and things like that and stuff that comes out and just before it's like there's no guns, there's no actual like there's a few, but it's not like
he has like the big laser shoulder blaster.
But that was like from Arnold,
right?
And
then he has the other. There's another smaller one that comes out from the helmet. So there was more like disc blast.
Yeah, like they used the old like technology from Arnold, but they hadn't upgraded any of them.
Like
to be
nothing
cooler.
new.
It's a blade, but why can't it be a laser blade or something like that?
Yeah, something. All they do is they get longer.
Yeah.
Right. That's what I'll be honest with you. That's what it looks like. All they're doing is like, well, in this version of the Predator, his blades are 6 feet long, or they twist or turn or something, or they spin. Crazy, weird stuff like that. I mean, they're supposedly in an advanced race of predators / hunters, right? Probably gonna get better technology than that.
Yes.
Just saying. So, I know that started off on a ramp about being good, but I still think it's good. I still think the technology is good in general. The suit's still cool. I still think them turning invisible and basically fading in with the entire background is pretty awesome. Basically the visible camo basically pretty awesome. The chemistry of the cast is surprisingly decent once they get into the thick of the plot. So I kind of appreciated that. Anything else you want to add that you thought was good?
Yeah, like the cast, they have a lot of comedic moments and comedic timing in there.
That's true.
In terms of when you watch it, the like kind of breaks sort of would be like a slow moments in the movie. So they do a good job, I guess, keeping you entertained while it's going on.
Which brings me to the parts which I think were kind of confusing for me. I wasn't quite sure if this was supposed to be a comedy, but I guess considering who's in the film, you can kind of wager they weren't going with a very serious tone. It was definitely a big homage to the first Predator. They used like the original music.
Yes.
They used a ton of lines from the first one and kind of reworked them in. We'll save that for the spoiler section. Let's see, what else did they do? I don't know, some of the language too, like cussing for the sake of cussing in certain moments where the dialogue isn't that great. Like he said, sometimes they were just joking. I'm like, I'm not sure why that's supposed to be funny.
Yeah.
But then some people in the theater were laughing, so maybe it just wasn't my style of comedy. I don't know if you thought everything they were saying was funny.
Not everything, but
there
I mean,
definitely
some stuff was.
Yeah, there were some funny moments, but there were a lot of moments where I was like, I don't know why that's supposed to be funny. I know you guys are all ex-soldiers, and maybe that's funny to you guys, but didn't get it. Don't know why it's supposed to be funny. So we'll wrap it up real quick here and go into our overall rating, and then we'll get into spoilers. Ian, overall, I know you're a fan of the original Predator.
I am.
I'm a huge fan of the original Predator. I actually watched it several times leading up until this one.
Oh, Sam.
So go ahead. What would you rate this one?
Rate this one. It wasn't horrible, so I can't literally say it's like, a horrible movie. It was entertaining.
Fair.
It was worth watching. I didn't leave the movie theater going, oh, I just wasted like 2 hours of time. So it was entertaining enough.
Mm-hmm.
And enough action, so I give it a 3.
A 3. Okay. All right. Ian's being nice. I'm going to give it a 2.5 straight to it. 2.5. I don't think this is something you have to watch in the theater. I watched it in an Adobe Cinema theater, which had awesome sound, yada yada yada. It was cool. Don't know if I needed to watch it in that. This could have been something that Netflix paid money for, and we all got to watch it right away at home, because that's a good place for it.
But it costs way too much for Netflix.
I think you are probably correct. I'll be honest with you. I say 2.5. The CGI and special effects they use in here, not 2.5. 5.0 easily. They did a really good job. The ships look awesome. Yeah. The little shields they have, the airplanes, the tech, all that stuff looks cool. So no qualms there. There are a few. I won't say 5.0. We'll say 4.5 because there's a few CGI moments where I probably could have been just like a little bit better, but pretty darn amazing. But still 2.5 for me. I don't think you have to see it in the theater. I think you can save your money. Wait unless you're a huge fan and you want to see the Predator meets a little bit of a comedy, science fiction. Yeah, that's kind of what it is, really. I don't even know there's like a genre for it, because it's not quite really. It's kind of a little bit of a parody, and it's kind of not.
It's a sci-fi comedy action.
It's basically their idea, their way of trying to reboot. Or not even reboot, but revitalize the Predator franchise. From all the mishaps that they've had over the years, they're trying to get back into the mainstream and make it more appealing to everybody. I think this is what their attempt was at that.
Yes.
So without further ado,
spoilers in your face. Spoilers in your face.
Spoilers. Ew, that's spoiled. All right, so getting into the spoilers.
They didn't get to the chopper.
There is no chopper. There are choppers. So going back to what we were talking about, the homage to the original. There's a scene where, pardon me if any children are watching, but I'm about to drop a few F-bombs because that's what they said in the movie. She, like Olivia Munn, supposedly is a biologist, and her whole backstory, terrible. Oh my gosh. Like, there's no real reason for her to be in this film. There's no reason for her to be there. She claims that she wrote a letter when she was 6 years old to the president, somehow got cross-referenced on some kind of search, and then her name got pulled, and they said, hey, come check out the aliens.
It was she wrote a paper on, like, biology.
But when she was 6.
Well, she wrote a thing on biology currently, and then she wrote the one on 6 about aliens.
Oh yeah,
and they cross-referenced the two
and
together.
it matched up.
And it matched up. Oh, we should use this person because they want to look out for aliens and they know a bunch of like
And
different
they're
biology.
smart.
Yeah, different biology. So yeah,
So
you're the
stupid.
one.
But anyways, there's the scene where she sees the predator on the table and she's like, "You beautiful motherfucker," and I was like, "Ha." That's a callback to your little Arnold statement. That was kind of cool. Kind of chuckle out of me. Made a lot of other people in the theater laugh way more than what I thought they should have. There's a scene where they look to the left and over the little horizon you see a bunch of motorcycles and the guy says, "Let's get to the choppers." And I was like, "Ha!" Laugh number 2 for me. And that was actually funnier.
Get to the choppers.
so yeah, that was that was funny. There's a couple other callbacks like we mentioned earlier, like to the music, kind of the theme for a minute. You kind of feel like they try to use the music to like make you feel like the military's arriving. Things are gonna get wild. And the ragtag crew of ex-soldiers, which they call them loonies, because they all have some type of issues mentally. I don't know if that was. I don't know if they're trying to like do a tie-in to today's awareness of mental illness from being in the military or what have you. I think they probably could have done this sketch a little bit better or had the tie-in stories a little bit better. Yeah. And for me, being in a place that had like supreme audio, I don't know about you, but for me, I couldn't even hear some of the dialogue that they were saying back and forth to each other. I'm like, your trooper did what? And they met how? What? I doesn't even.
There's a couple like lines where they said like they were how they met. You kind of there's so much other noise and background noise you don't really hear what they're saying.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't think this is the best time to be dialoguing on how they all met each other while they're arguing in the background or gunfire is going on. So this kind of missed dialogue and story probably there. Don't know if it would have really helped. They try really hard to make you care about all these characters getting killed. If you've ever seen a Predator film, you know darn good and well that pretty much anyone else is fodder for the Predator, and the main character is pretty much going to last until almost the very end, until some type of standoff.
Yes.
No surprise, same chemistry here. So
pretty much happens in every Predator movie.
Yep.
1 or maybe 2 people survive, and everybody else.
Small twist. Right? The government is aware of predators.
Yes.
They're aware that they've been coming back and forth, apparently.
Basically, we're since the first Predator and understand that they keep coming in. They're coming in more because the planet's dying.
Yeah, somehow they don't even say this like that they've talked to each other or anything else, but somehow they establish some type of confirmation that one of them wants to help Earth not become a new home for the predators, kind of, sort of.
Well, they figured when
or like
the
a
other
place
one
to inhabit.
When the other one killed the bigger super predator, killed the smaller one, they go, well, he's here for a reason, probably traitor or something, because.
Well, what's his name? He's in Hotel Artemis as well.
And This Is Us.
Sterling K. Brown. There you go. And he's also in the Black Panther film as T'Challa's uncle. Yes. So Sterling K. Brown comes out of nowhere when he finally gets confronted, and he supposedly claims that they know that he's there for that, right? Not just from that, because like he knows way too much, right? He's like, oh, this one's here for this, and like I'm like, how do you know all this?
Yeah.
Right. So there's at some point in time there was some type of exchange that took place, I think, of information or whatever, and this guy was supposed to be bringing them some type of way to help, help the human race.
Well, they thought it was like, oh, it's to save the planet, which they kind of got away from that at the end of the movie. It's not just they were bringing something to save the planet because the planet's dying. That's why they keep coming to get more and more DNA and stuff from the humans.
Yep. So they can use our DNA to kind of like
splice and
make them more adaptable to this environment. So
to just in general be smarter or whatever they need to do.
Because they mentioned later on in the film that they like hot climates, and apparently we're on our way to a very hot climate here.
Yeah. So that's what they're kind of doing, but then they kind of just at the end was like, oh no, here's something to protect you from predators.
The predator killer, which me and him both were like, please be Arnold. Yeah. Please be Arnold coming here, right? All this talk about DNA and everything, so we're like, it's gotta be Arnold.
So there's a cocoon that shows up at the end, and you're just like, okay, it's a cocoon, it's opening. Oh, it has a name, and you're like, oh, someone alive in there? Okay, so start opening. You're thinking, if this is Arnold, this is the greatest ending for a Predator movie.
Okay, so two things that made me think it could have been Arnold, right?
Yeah.
Number one, they say, oh, it's called the Predator Killer, okay?
Yes.
And then they're like, oh, it's dormant, like it's in cryos. And I'm like, well, everyone knows that he's like one of the original people because the whole cryo thing, they usually use like the frozen or time traveling when they're doing Terminator. So I'm like, okay, this has got to be something Arnold related. Come on, be Arnold.
And it opens.
Be yes.
And this little drone flying thing comes up.
Robotic thing.
And it just stands there, and you're just like, what the hell is this? What the hell is this? And then this guy's like, what's this? And then it attaches to his arm.
And then you pretty much find out it's basically like the Predator version of Iron Man's suit.
Yes. It basically turns them into a full Predator suit, and it basically reads for predators, and then it's like, oh, no predators, and shuts off.
And makes them look like a predator.
Yes.
Which is interesting. So, I totally think Star Trek is involved.
It's Mark 28.
Keegan Michael Key.
Yes.
He did funny.
I mean,
not funny. He had his moments, you know.
Yeah.
What was his name? Dude from Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay.
I mean, he didn't really have much of a role. Like,
Not really. It's like another sniper.
He was just kind of there. It didn't really.
Yeah. Boyd Holbrook. Boyd Holbrook is the I guess you would say the star.
Yeah.
He's this movie's Arnold. He's this movie's Danny Glover. So.
Yes. And it was, I mean.
He did an okay job.
Okay. I mean, as a lead, he did fine. I mean, it wasn't as, it was
know,
like,
he
it
looks
wasn't
like-
Saddam Lathan.
I thought he was the kid from Final Destination. He kind of looks like him a little bit.
Yeah.
So, but anywho, I digress. The film was okay. Like we said earlier, 2.5 for me, 3 for him. No end credits to this one.
Nothing fast.
No talk of a sequel. I think it's really gonna rely heavily on how this one does.
They left it open that there could be a sequel. They're basically saying, is this going to make any money? If it does, then we'll do a sequel. If it doesn't make any money, then you're not going to see anything else.
So
probably not for a while. I think at this point, they probably just need to reboot the whole thing.
Yes. Or, I don't know. Let me write a script and I'll give you guys an amazing film. So, as we do at this time, right? Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know down in the comments if there's anything you want us to check out, anything you want us to review. We do have a couple reviews out that we're going to put out there for you guys. We have The Nun and Peppermint coming to you soon.
Yes.
So, once again, thanks for watching. Much love and peace.